Well, this month, my wife and I had to recarpet a couple of the rooms in my house, which of course forced us to move all the things in those rooms, out of those rooms, which forced me to realize how much junk we have in our house. Just junk. You ever realize how much junk you have in your house? The LA Times wrote this report that said the average American house has 300,000 items in it. And after last week, I believe that for sure. 300, that may be a low number. 300,000. They also said that the average American with a two-car garage, right, 25% of them at least have no room for any cars in their garage. And 32% can only squeeze one car in there, and they probably can't even get the doors all the way open. That means over half of Americans with a two-car garage use it basically as a big closet. And when the closet garage runs out of space, they go off-site and they rent off-site closet space. Yes, 1 in 10 Americans has off-site storage. You know who you are, right? You have that padlock key for that storage unit. It's been the fastest growing real estate industry for the last 4 decades. There's 50,000 storage facilities in the United States of America, 50,000, which is 4 times more than there are Starbucks in our country. There's a lot of storage facilities. People making a lot of money off of you storing your stuff, your junk, off-site. Well, the clutter of life certainly starts young. A British report came out recently that said the average 10-year-old has 238 toys and only plays with 12. Okay? So he's got a lot of excess junk. You had that at 10, right? Certainly your 10-year-olds have that. So it's easy for us to admit that our life is full of clutter. And if you're feeling like, oh no, he's going to tackle all the clutter in my life, that's not what I want to preach about this morning. But I do want that to illustrate, not the clutter of all the stuff that we have, but the clutter of all the stuff that we do. Now follow me on this. The clutter of all the stuff that we do. You see, at some point, we're going to have to look back and look at all the things we did with our lives and recognize that a lot of it just needs to be hauled off to the dumpster of life. And it really amounted to nothing. It was just clutter. It didn't amount to much. As opposed to those activities that we engage in at the end of our lives when we look back and said we really valued these things. These were important. Now, these were the things that mattered, and I care, I value, I prize these things. See, if you think about it, we're all moving out. And at some point, you're going to vacate this life, and all you're going to do, according to the Bible, is have an opportunity standing before God to separate the things that were valuable and the things that were just clutter. And if that sounds familiar, that's a biblical analogy. It's given to us in 1 Corinthians chapter 3 that says one day we're going to see our lives, the activities of our lives, and we're going to have wood, hay, and straw. That's all the stuff that goes in the trash bin of life. But then you're going to have some things that are gold, silver, and precious stones. And those will be the things you value. You see, the goal of a wise Christian life is to try to do the best we can to store up more things that at the end of our lives we're going to say, these things mattered, these things were important.